What is good, Foundation Nation? We are out here today with the review, not of the Discraft Raptor, but of the specific run, Raptorious, which is a Z-Swirl metallic Raptor. So this review we're gonna handle just like our normal reviews, except for we're not gonna give a Foundation certified score because we do that for molds and this is a specific run. So we're gonna have to come back and do a specific review of the Raptor in the future. But other than that, we're gonna see how this thing flies. We have a decent bit of wind out here today, which is gonna be perfect to see how truly overstable this run is. We haven't thrown it at all yet. You're about to watch the first throw. These are all board flat, really stiff rim. They feel really good in the hand, feel great forehand and backhand. Personally, I'm pretty particular about Raptors forehand. I've been loving the Captain's Raptor because it feels a little deeper. This one feels really good forehand. I have a Captain's Raptor in my bag. I don't know if it feels good enough to kick that out, but we'll see how it flies. And if it flies good enough, it just might. So let's see how this thing throws. I'm gonna try to go relatively flat out there, as flat as I can. You know how I am. I'm gonna go relatively flat out there and see how stable this thing is. All right, pretty overstable. It didn't want to really budge left or right, but it's not like Captain Raptor overstable. Like, it doesn't dive to the ground. It had a good like pushing right to left flight. I'm gonna go ahead and throw one on some Annie, and then I'll let Trevor throw some of the other ones backhand as well, and then we'll come back, throw a little hyzer and a little forehand, see what happens. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw this one on a little bit of Anheuser. This is actually the one I grabbed for my bag, so I'm curious to see how this one will fly. This is why you always have an extra. I ripped that into the ground, as I always do with Anheisers. So it looked like it still wanted to pan, but I want to see if it'll fight. I didn't give it time to fight. I want to see if it'll fight. All right, that was a little nose up. I definitely still got it on Annie. Being nose up, it did want to hold it a little bit. So I think this is going to be a disc that's not like, oh my gosh, that's so overstable. But I think it's going to fit kind of that in between your like Vulture Onyxes and your like Captain's Raptor. I think it fits right in that slot, but we'll let Trevor throw and see what he thinks.
Just gonna kind of pump it out there flat. Just ooh. Kind of fun. Yeah, it's honestly straighter than I expected. I think I've had more stable Raptors, but it's definitely holding, and we are into the wind. There's not a lot, but we are into it. Held straight really nice. I'm gonna give it hyzer just a little bit. Yeah, pretty true on hyzer. I went way left. I think once you get it to hyzer, it definitely is overstable. I think it's one of those discs that you can like power it down and keep it flat for a long time. It's not gonna turn over. It'll fight out at the end. Really nice flight though. This is a pretty traditional, like I think what I like out of a Raptor, which is something that's just dependable but not overly crazy overstable, where it's going to have a lot of uses for a lot of people. Because I think if you have a lower arm speed, this disc probably fits in where a Captain's Raptor might for somebody who throws harder. But if you throw faster, a little bit faster, then you kind of get just a nice, dependable, usable flight out of it. It's nice, very nice.
All right, so got a pretty good feel for this disc now. I'm gonna go with a hyzer. I'm gonna go kind of not a high spike hyzer. I wanna kind of throw it on this angle and see if it'll flip up at all, if it'll fight out at all. And then I'm gonna just rip a forehand as my final shot. And then we'll have Trevor throw two more, and then we'll give you our final thoughts on the Raptorious. So I'll go with the hyzer first. Yeah, it has no desire to flip, which is good. Someone like Brody's arm speed, or a pro's arm speed in general, might be able to get it to like slightly flip up, but no one should have any problems with it like flipping up and over, which I mean that's kind of what you want with a disc like this. You don't want it to flip up and over. You want to know I can throw it on hyzer and hold. So again, I'm still thinking this is that slot between like your Vulture, Onyx, Thunderbird type disc and your Firebird, Captain Raptor, Predator, that type disc. I think that's where the Raptorious fits. I would call it a little, I think this runs a little more stable than your stock Raptor, from my experience with stock Raptors, but I do know there's some stock Raptors that come out more stable than this. But those will vary. This one you kind of know what you're getting. and it looks sick.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, definitely in my bag, it's gonna fit that slot where it's gonna be a really straight, hard hyzer forehand disc, and it's gonna be a backhand disc that I need to make sure I finish left, but I still need that little extra distance that my Captain's Raptor can't get me. That's where I'm putting this thing in.
I'm gonna go ahead and give this guy a forehand now. Try and give it a little bit of turn. Here's the thing. I've never been a huge fan of the Raptor for my forehands because I think it usually feels a little shallow. These ones, for some reason, like that felt very comfortable. I really do not mind that at all, and it flies nice. It's kind of like, for me, like I have maybe slightly above average arm speed. I don't know, in the grand scheme of things. My forehand though, I don't have a ton of arm speed. So if I'm trying to throw the Captain's Raptor, for example, a Firebird, I'm not gonna get a lot out of it. But this seems like something I could throw forehand with and kind of get the flight that I'd almost desire out of a disc like that, where it's still gonna have plenty of dependable fade. This thing's not going anywhere. It's not going left, but it also gets me a little more distance, which I kind of like. I'll give this one more rip with some Annie, try to get some real good distance out of it. Pulled out of that pretty quick. Yeah, pretty nice. A little bit of tailwind, but I mean, as you can see, it's got plenty of dependability. It got out of that nice. I think this is a good, solid Raptor run. I enjoy this disc. I think it's going to be very useful. All right, so there it is. This is the first review of the Raptorious run of the Raptor, the Z Swirl Metallic Raptors. I think bottom line is this is a really solid run of Raptor. I've kind of had a mixed relationship with the Raptor, but I really enjoyed throwing this disc. Really enjoyed it more on the forehand than I thought I would. It's a great feeling disc. It looks great. I think this is going to be, anybody who's a fan of the Raptor is going to love this run. I think it's true to what the Raptor is supposed to be. So I think you're definitely going to want to make sure to check it out. These are coming out this Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Hyzer Club members will get early access. Make sure to be there. These things are going to go fast. We'll see you next time.